So the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. The people have spoken. The results for the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Annual Boxing Awards, as voted for by you, the public, are as follows. First category, Robbery of the Year. In 5th place, with 7% of the vote, is Hassan and Dam versus Murata, the first fight. In 4th place, with 10% of the vote, is Joseph Parker versus Hughie Fury. In 3rd place, with 12% of the vote, is Tevin Farmer versus Ogawa. In 2nd place, with 17% of the vote, is Gennady Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs. And in 1st place, with a whopping 55% of the vote, as voted for by you, the public, is Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. So Canelo Alvarez versus Golovkin is the Robbery of the Year 2017, as voted for by you guys. Next category, Troll of the Year. In 5th place, with 8% of the vote, is Dylan White. In 4th place, with 9% of the vote, is Billy Joe Saunders. In 3rd place, with 15% of the vote, is Eddie Hearn. In 2nd place, with 24% of the vote, is Tyson Fury. And in 1st place, with 44% of the vote, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Troll of the Year is the Eubanks. Alright, the Eubanks get 44%, by far and away, as voted for by you, the public, the Trolls of the Year. Next category, Most Improved Fighter of the Year. And I have to give some honorable mentions here for this particular category, but let me just read out the results. In 5th place, with 3% of the vote, Jeff Horn. In 4th place, with 4% of the vote, George Groves. In 3rd place, with 6% of the vote, Jamel Charlo. In 2nd place, with 29% of the vote, Chris Eubank Jr. And in 1st place, with a massive 58% of the vote, the Most Improved Fighter of 2017, as voted for by you, the public, is Billy Joe Saunders. Now, honorable mentions, actually no, I was thinking of a different category. It's not Most Improved Fighter. Let me just have a look at the comments actually to see if anybody mentions anyone else. No, let's just go with the ones that we have there. Anyway, let's move on to the next category. Next category is Upset of the Year. In 5th place, with just 2% of the vote, is Saddam Ali versus Miguel Cotto. In 4th place, with 6% of the vote, is Rungvisai versus Gonzalez. In 3rd place, with 20% of the vote, is Manny Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn. In 2nd place, with 23% of the vote, is Tony Bellew versus David Haye. And at number 1, by a wide margin with 48% of the vote, is Caleb Truax versus James DeGale. That is the 2017 Upset of the Year, as voted for by you guys, my subscribers. Caleb Truax's win over James DeGale. Next category, and this is where I do have an honorable mention. This is the one, all right? Next category is Prospect of the Year. In 5th place, with only 3% of the vote, Shakur Stevenson. In 4th place, with 16% of the vote is Josh Taylor. In third place, with 23% of the vote, is Daniel Dubois. In second place, with 27% of the vote, is Josh Kelly. And in first place, with 30% of the vote, is Anthony Yard. He is the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Prospect of the Year as voted for by you, my subscribers. Now, honorable mention, and I think a few people did mention this, not only in the comments on this particular category, but also on social media. A few people mentioned Joshua Buatsi being Prospect of the Year. Some people mentioned Isaac Chamberlain and Lawrence Okolie and a few others. So I'll give those as honorable mentions. A lot of people were saying Josh Taylor's not really a prospect, so he shouldn't have been one of the candidates for this vote. Josh Taylor, they're saying, is a contender, not a prospect, and I kind of agree there. I think 2017 was the year that Josh Taylor went from being a prospect into a contender, because he beat O'Hara Davis and he beat Miguel Vasquez. Those two wins, I think, elevated him above prospect status and turned him into a contender, but still he was on the cusp in 2017, so maybe we'll get away with it. But the others, I can't really argue with people voting for any of the others, whether it be Shakur Stevenson, Josh Kelly, Daniel Dubois, Anthony Yard. They've all got their believers and they've all got their detractors, but they're all good prospects. Anyway, next category, Promoter of the Year. I thought this might be a little bit more competitive, but the results have been very one-sided. So let's get into it. In fifth place, with only 1% of the vote, is Oscar De La Hoya. Even though he put on Canelo Golovkin, he only gets 1% of the vote. So there you go, Oscar De La Hoya in fifth place. In fourth place, with 2% of the vote, Bob Arum. In third place, with 6% of the vote, Frank Warren. In second place, with 17% of the vote, is Kalle Sauerland. And in first place, with a whopping 74% of the vote, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Promoter of the Year is Eddie Hearn. That's right, Fast Eddie has been voted as the Promoter of the Year by you, my subscribers, by a huge margin. He did put on Klitschko versus Joshua. He did put on Kell Brook versus Errol Spence. He did put on Tony Bellew versus David Haye. So he's put some big fights on. Let's not get it twisted. He also did a show in the United States, which was a pretty decent show with Danny Jacobs and Big Baby Miller and what have you. So that resonated with the fans and they voted him as Promoter of the Year. Next category, Knockout of the Year. In fifth place was Dorticus versus Kudryashov. In fourth place, Dorticus versus Kudryashov got 5% of the vote, right? In fourth place, with 12% of the vote, was Jamel Charlo versus Erickson Lubin. In third place, with 17% of the vote, David Lemieux versus Curtis Stevens. In second place, with 30% of the vote, is Deontay Wilder versus Berman Stavern, the rematch. And in first place, with 36% of the vote, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Knockout of the Year is Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. The people have spoken. They've said that that was their favorite knockout or the best knockout of 2017. Next category, Performance of the year. In 5th place, Rung Visay versus Gonzalez, Chocolatito, with 4% of the vote. In 4th place, with 6% of the vote, Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. In 3rd place, with 14% of the vote, Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. In 2nd place, with 31% of the vote, Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. And in 1st place, with 46% of the vote, is Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux. That is the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Performance of the Year as voted for by you, my subscribers. I will give a little comment on this. I think that Ward's performance over Kovalev was underrated. I think Spence's performance over Brook was underrated. And you could even say Rung Visay's performance over Chocolatito was underrated. Saunders versus Lemieux was a very good performance. Joshua versus Klitschko was a very good performance too. I feel like this vote should have been a bit closer rather than 46% voting for Saunders versus Lemieux, because as I say, the other performances were very good too. Very good. And if you look at the step up that Joshua took by facing Klitschko, that's a good performance. A lot of people doubted Ward going into the Kovalev rematch. A lot of people doubted Spence fighting Brook. I mean, think about it. Brook really, pound for pound, is better than David Lemieux. You know, he was a champion. And Spence went to Brook's backyard and stopped him. It was a very competitive fight. It wasn't one-sided. You know, Saunders didn't lose a round against Lemieux, so I understand that. But Brook is a better opponent than Lemieux pound for pound. So anyway, I just feel like that category should have been closer. But, you know, it's up to you guys, man, the public. You vote however you want to vote. But in my mind, I think, like, you know, people should have been a bit more, I don't want to say fair, but maybe considered some of the other options more. Anyway, let's get on to the next category. Fight of the year. In 5th place, with only 1% of the vote, was Gonzalez versus Rung Visay. In 4th place, with 2% of the vote, Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. In 3rd place, with 6% of the vote, James DeGale versus Badou Jack. In 2nd place, with 9% of the vote, Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. And in 1st place, with an overwhelming 82% of the vote, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Fight of the Year, as voted for by you, the public, is Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. Now, there was a lot of good fights in 2017, and the 5 that were in this voting category were all good fights. DeGale versus Jack especially was a very good fight. You know, all of them were. All of these were good fights, but the Joshua versus Klitschko fight really captured the imagination of the public. It was heavyweights at the end of the day. When big men hit the canvas, it makes a loud sound and it reverberates around the world, and both Joshua and Klitschko hit the canvas in that fight. It was full of drama, it had knockdowns on both sides, and it had a dramatic finish. So I can't argue with Joshua versus Klitschko being voted as Fight of the Year 2017. And finally, the last category, Fighter of the Year. Let's get into it. In 5th place, with 3% of the vote, is Errol Spence Jr. In 4th place, with 8% of the vote, is Andre Ward. In 3rd place, with 29% of the vote, is Vasyl Lomachenko. Now here we get to the sticky part, people, because number 1 and number 2 are actually tied with 30% of the vote apiece here. So since you guys can't split them, I'm gonna have to intercede, and split them myself. Right? So I'm gonna say in 2nd place, the Hatman Strats Back 2017 Fighter of the Year is Anthony Joshua. And in 1st place, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Fighter of the Year award goes to Terence Bud Crawford. Why did I split them like that and not put Joshua first instead of Terence Crawford? Because Crawford unified the division. The first fighter to do it in many, many years. He became undisputed 140-pound champion. A great year, a great achievement for Terence Crawford. He's yet to lose. He's yet to really look close to losing. Anthony Joshua came close to losing. And he gets points for coming through adversity. And he fought a better opponent in Vladimir Klitschko than Terence Crawford fought. But Crawford is really building a Hall of Fame resume at the moment, a Hall of Fame legacy. So all things considered and all things combined, I had to put Terence Crawford number 1 rather than Anthony Joshua. Just my opinion, just my view. But it was very close, that category. You had Lomachenko with 29%, only 1% less than Crawford and Joshua. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. As voted for by you, the public, the 2017 Hatman Strikes Back Annual Boxing Awards. Those were the winners. Just to recap again: Robbery of the Year, Canelo vs. Golovkin. Troll of the Year, the Eubanks. Most Improved Fighter of the Year, Billy Joe Saunders. Upset of the Year, Truax vs. DeGale. Prospect of the Year, Anthony Yard. Promoter of the Year, Eddie Hearn. Knockout of the Year, Joshua vs. Klitschko. Performance of the Year, Saunders vs. Lemieux. Fight of the Year, Joshua vs. Klitschko. And Fighter of the Year, Terence Crawford. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the winners and the losers, the critical omissions, the guys who should have been in some of these categories but weren't. I mean, Fighter of the Year, originally I did in 2 parts. So I had, I think, Canelo and Golovkin in part 2 as Fighter of the Year. So there was, more than 5 candidates for that particular category originally. But then I thought to myself, you know what, it's not fair to have 5 candidates for all the other categories, but 7 candidates for Fighter of the Year. It's not fair. So I had to cut it down to 5 and take out Canelo and Triple G from the Fighter of the Year candidates. Harsh decisions have to be made. YouTube only allows 5 candidates per category. That's the maximum, so that's why it's only 5. It is what it is. It's only a bit of fun at the end of the day, people. You guys can do your own polls and your own votes. And if you're that incensed with this one, then feel free to do your own. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop your comments in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out. And oh yeah, we're talking about Happy New Year to everyone. Roll on 2018. And maybe I'll do a video about which fights I'm most looking forward to, or which fights you guys are most looking forward to in 2018. So yeah, hope you guys are enjoying your holidays, your break from work if you're having one. Be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. Happy New Year, and yeah, let's look forward to 2018. I'll do a separate video about which fights we're looking forward to most. It's Hatman, I'm out.